So I was actually taken a bit by surprise this weekend. I didn't know that there was a new episode of Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel this weekend. I thought that they were going to have their premiere episode of this season. I thought they were going to wait until Tuesday, till the 28th at 8 p.m. for the Dimensions in Danger special 25th anniversary episode. But I was wrong. I thought that that would be episode 9 of Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel, when this episode that just aired today is Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel. I'm recording this about an hour or two after I watched the episode, so it's probably Sunday now. So by the time this is uploaded, my thoughts are as usual. It's Super Ninja Steel. You all know that. Like I said, I was surprised that they have it. This is episode 9, the Dimensions in Danger episode for the 25th anniversary of Power Rangers. That will be episode 10 of Super Ninja Steel. But this is a bit of a precursor to that, so it was actually, I guess, rather entertaining. I guess. This was episode 9, Outfoxed, and it pretty much leaves off, or basically begins where the last episode leaves off. With the Rangers seemingly and their Zords being defeated by Madame Odious and her Fox Zord, as it is. And they only had 24 hours to figure out how to beat it before Madame Odious was able to charge her Fox Zord up again, and it would be operational, and she would destroy the Rangers and the rest of the city, and therefore the rest of the world. But in this episode, there's a couple of different side notes. Nothing really too big and too crazy. It actually stays pretty linear for this episode, which I'm actually a little bit happy about, because it's easy to just kind of slide back into the groove, I guess, of recording these reviews for Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel. In this episode, we don't get to see a whole lot of Victor and Monty, thankfully, so they kind of keep them hush-hush, so I like that. It starts by the Rangers at their base with Mick and Redbot, and they're trying to figure out how to fix their Zord stars, because obviously without the Zord stars, they don't think they can beat Madame Odious. So Mick decides to try to make new Zord stars, because the prism, the Nexus prism, started glowing and showed them an image of new Zords. Blaze Zords, as they're calling them. And Mick says, oh, okay, well, maybe we don't need to fix your Zord stars right away, and we can just use these Zords. So he takes some forged Super Ninja Steel stars, proceeds to throw them into the Nexus Prism, as he normally does whenever he just creates a new power star right off the bat. Throws them in, and usually they spit back out, right? They fly right back out, they catch them, and there's your new Zord star, or power star, or whatever have you. Well, it didn't happen this time. This time, the Nexus Prism froze the new Zord stars solid. It apparently created the new Zord stars, but it didn't give it back to them. It just kind of just froze solid there, and they couldn't get to them, and of course Mick didn't know how to get them out, so in a weird twist, 3 strange entities dressed in what look like Grim Reaper cloaks from a Halloween store come through a magic purple portal and proceed to tell the Rangers that they haven't proven themselves yet to use the prism, or use the new Blaze Zord stars. Levi made a good point. They're already Rangers. What do they have left to prove? Well, this time their trial of proof wasn't about strength, it was about heart. Go Planet. Anyway, so these 3 mysterious figures, they don't explain where they come from. They just step through the portal, tell them they haven't proven themselves, and then they walk back through the portal, and bye. Okay, no explanation there whatsoever. But anyway, Mick gets the idea that he could probably recharge somehow, like jumpstart their Zord stars, but he needs a list of things from the Rangers to do so. Um, Ironically, Brody proceeds to say, "Well, most of this stuff is in the science lab." Okay. Apparently, this school has everything from a secret superhero base to a science lab that has everything they need to furnish it to make powerful weapons, apparently. You figure the government would know about that, or should know about that. Anyhow, as they're out collecting the items they need for Mick to try to fix or recharge their Zord stars, they keep running into little snags here and there where they start breaking apart to help random people that they run into. Preston ends up having to help. I believe her name was Sandy. Her name was Sandy, I think. I want to say her name was Sandy. New student in school with a science project. She wants to get an A and make a good impression in her first day of school, apparently. So Preston stops and helps her with that. Not before Victor and Monty, obviously, proceeded to try to help her first with her experiment, and then mixed two chemicals that don't go together, and somehow that basically glued Victor and Monty's heads together by their hair, which was funny. Again, anything bad that happens to them, I enjoy. I think it's just hilarious. So they're stuck together, and then they awkwardly bumble and stumble out of the room. Preston helps Sandy. Then the rest of the Rangers, they go ahead. They go outside. Why they're outside, I don't know, because weren't they supposed to be collecting the ingredients, the stuff from the science lab, which is inside the school? But I don't know. I'm not gonna question that too much. They run into their principal, who's sobbing on the ground near a sewer grate, and then proceeds to claim that she dropped her wedding ring down the sewer. Wow, what a crappy day for luck for these people at this school. So Calvin and Haley decide to stay behind and help. Of course, the cute couple decide to stay behind to try to help the principal get her wedding ring out of the sewer grate. And then the rest of the Rangers ended up running into Victor and Monty again outside, and they're on the ground sobbing because they can't get unstuck. So they decide to help Victor and Monty. They use a chemical solution, I suppose, that Sarah pours it on the Pink Ranger pours it on their heads, and they separate, and they're all thankful for it. They get back to their secret base, to the power chamber, I guess, the command center, and give all the ingredients, all the supplies to Mick, and he was able to recharge Calvin's Zord star, but unfortunately, because at that point they only had an hour left before Madame Odious's Fox Zord was recharged itself and would start going on a rampage. They just did not have enough time to recharge all the Zord stars. But ironically, the Nexus Prism opens up and gives them the new Blaze Zord stars. And when they start to question, well, why did they just give it to us out of nowhere? What happened? What changed? Then the purple dimensional portal opens up again. The three cloaked figures step through once again and say, it wasn't a proof of strength. It was it was proof of heart. Your selfless acts. Even though that you were in dire straits, you still took time to help others, and that's what unlocked the Blaze Zord stars. Sappy, but effective. I mean, again, it's a good moral message for kids. That's good. It goes to show, no matter how busy you are in your life, during your daily routines, even though you might have something really, really important to do or somewhere important to be, if somebody else along the way is in trouble, in peril, needs some support, take the time to stop and at least ask to see what's wrong and if there's anything you can do to help. And that's a good message. So I can kind of see where that's warranted. You can go ahead and keep that. So, some of the other messages during this series haven't exactly been so clear and straightforward, but This one was pretty clear and straightforward. Like I said, no matter how busy you are, how important you think you are, others are important too, and they need help. So, again, really, really, really good, sweet moral, good message there. Um, but of course, like I said, they got their new glazed Zord stars. So I guess while Mick takes his time now to repair the other Zord stars, they can use these new ones to fight Madame Odious and once again, and two other characters I think should have been finished off long ago, um, which was I can't even remember the name of the bee monster. I can't remember her name. But Wolverine, oh, geez, I talked about that for probably a good 3 episodes of Ninja Steel reviews that I did. He was one of those monsters that just won't die, or at least should have died, but they keep bringing him back for some reason. Again, I don't understand the monster's power and the reasoning to want to control the world. They already apparently have the ability to resurrect people. They have the power of eternal life, basically. What else do you freaking need? So I mean, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But anyway, they get their new Zord stars. They morph and use their new Zord stars to form a Megazord. But that's the funny thing. It's like, oh, we have our new Zords. Let's form the Megazord and take them, take her out. What makes them just assume that there's new Zords actually can form a Megazord? Not all Zords in the history of Super Sentai or Power Rangers had the ability to form a Megazord. Sometimes they were just a support Zord, or they would turn into a weapon for the Zord or something. But of course, they don't explain nothing. They just assume we got new Zords. Let's form the Megazord. So, and obviously they know how to do it. They do it. Actually, a pretty entertaining battle between the new Blaze Megazord and Madame Odious, even though she still got defeated way easier than she probably should have, considering the episode right before this, she kicked the other Megazords butt like it was nothing. So, I mean, I can't see how one new Megazord has enough power to defeat a monster that just defeated them. It's so. It's like a game of Pong. It just goes back and forth and back and forth. I'm trying to make heads or tails of it, guys. I really am. But anyway, of course, in Power Rangers fashion, they defeat her, or at least they defeat the Fox Zord, not Madame Odious, obviously, or else there wouldn't be a rest of the series. But a funny little note at the end of the battle, or right before the end of the battle, before the Rangers fire themselves out of the Megazord at Madame Odious's Fox Zord to destroy it, which happened in Shuriken Sentai Ninja. That was actually its special attack, as the Rangers would actually get fired out of a cannon, a rotating cannon, and they would use their swords at high speed after being shot to deliver the final strike. The 3 mysterious figures appeared again and proceeded to say, "Oh, I like this team. Yes, we need to find more of them. We could use their help." Something like that. And the one in the middle crosses his arms, and you can see the Chronomorpher from Time Force, which is Wes from Time Force, the Red Ranger. So it gives me the impression, off of thumbnails and other information that I get, that the other 2-dimensional figures, one was the Pink Ranger Cat from Mighty Morphin Zeo Turbo, and the other one was probably Jason David Frank. The one who spoke the least was probably Jason David Frank. So, a little bit weird, obviously. Why are they dressed in Grim Reaper, cloaks? And why are they going from dimension to dimension? Again, I get that episode 10, the next episode, is called Dimensions in Danger. I was always under the impression, at least in Super Sentai, you're under the impression that all these Rangers are from the same dimension, the same time period. For the exception, in Super Sentai, all for the exception of Time Force. They were supposed to be a team from the future that traveled through time and to fight battles and catch monsters. So, aside from Time Force or Time Ranger, you're supposed to assume that they're all from the same dimension universe. Or sorry, I'll cut that. There's one more, and that's RPM. here in America anyways, RPM, where they tried to say, oh well, this is in a different dimension, or where Earth is called has a city called Corinth, and it's all destroyed and post-apocalyptic and such. Again, weird that they did. That's not how it happened in Go-Onger in Japan. It was just another team of Super Sentai. So I'm gonna stop ranting, guys. That's pretty much my overview, my review of this weekend's brand new episode of Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel, episode 9, Outfoxed. Did I mention at the end Victor and Monty were going bald because their hair being stuck together from the chemical adhesive that stuck them together? That was actually pretty funny. Too bad they weren't completely bald. I actually kind of thought about that early in the episode. Wouldn't it be funny as after they got unstuck that they had to like shave their heads or they had a big bald spot? And sure enough, at the end of the episode, as they're walking to the school, they turn around and they got a big old bald spot on the back of their head. Again, doesn't make a whole lot of sense considering it was like the front tops of their heads that were stuck together, not the backs of their heads. But again, just little things that I notice. Ugh. But anyway, guys, that was my review for the week. I will actually be back one more time this week for my review of the 25th anniversary episode of Power Rangers, with episode 10 of Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel, Dimensions in Danger. I'm actually excited for that one, so I can't wait. A nice little cliffhanger teaser at the end of this episode here. So until next week, guys, as always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Like ratings are always appreciated. Feel free to comment in the section below. Let me know what you thought of today's episode, this weekend's episode. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Sorry, I'm ranting. I'm still really, really tired, guys. I'm still really tired. It's been a long weekend. This concludes our broadcast day.